when the Knicks beat the Cavs in last year's playoffs, the word I kept thinking of was validating. That series really validated a lot of the moves Leon Rose did make, like signing Jalen Brunson, which, as we know at the time, was heavily ridiculed, criticized, made fun of, but also the ones he didn't. Like, he didn't fire Tom Thibodeau, trade Julius Randle, didn't go all in for Donovan Mitchell, and I think he was proven right on all of it. And so when I think about, my thoughts on this series victory, Knicks beating Philadelphia, it's also validating in a lot of the same ways in terms of the roster Leon Rose has built, like signing Dante DiVincenzo, trading for OG Anunoby. But I think what was really special about this series victory in particular for the Knicks is that it doesn't just validate the roster moves, but it validates everything the Knicks have been trying to build within their culture as an organization, where, as we know, it's a culture of grit and toughness and not giving up and just putting your head down and working no matter the circumstances. And we just saw that on full display throughout this series. I mean, like, every single win the Knicks had, every single game was just the ultimate slugfest, pound through everything, get by, the skin of your teeth. It was just all so incredibly improbable. And you think about everything the Knicks had to overcome in this series, where I'm pretty sure in every game they won, they were down double digits, every single one, so it's you're obviously down Julius, you lose Bogdanovich, you're going up against this 7 seed that's no typical 7 seed because their best player missed a good chunk of the season. So really it's more like a second round matchup or even a conference finals matchup masqueraded in the first round. Just all this stuff going against them, both in the series and throughout a game, and yet the Knicks, they just fought through it. Like, it's really as simple as that. You watch any of those games, and when I say they fought through it, because I say fought, because they really did. It wasn't pretty. It was never pretty. It was always pretty grimy and disgusting and made my heart rate spike, but they just did it. And I think that's what's so special about this Knicks team is, it sounds so cliche, but it's true because they really do just find a way. They do. It's not always easy to explain how a team, with, missing their other all-star, playing 7 guys, playing all their guys 40 plus minutes, which they have been doing for most of the regular season through the playoffs, how they got it done was just so incredibly improbable. And it's just so when I say it's validating, I'm talking about that belief that they all have and just their ability to just sort of say whatever's in front of them, they're going to figure it out. That's the confidence this team has instilled in me as a fan, where you have doubts, you have criticism about whatever they're doing, and it's just I literally felt throughout the series they're just going to figure it out. They're just going to figure it out. Tyrese Maxey goes for 47. They'll figure out how to stop him. Lose Bogdanovich. They'll figure out how to work around him. Embiid's, getting all the free throws. They'll figure it out. You just get that sense from them because that's the sort of mentality they exude of just hey, it doesn't matter what's against us, what's for us, what can we do to make this for us. And you saw it with the way they won these games, where game 1, Josh Hart hits 4 or 5 threes. They win game 2, they're down 5 with 30 seconds left, still managed to win. Game 4, Brunson goes for 47 points. And then this game where Buddy Hield's going off and they blow a 22-point lead, and then they're down and Philly's crowd has momentum. But then they just scratched and clawed their way back, and that's what made this series so special. Obviously, it's great to get back to the second round, but it's just so validating of everything the Knicks are about from a culture and a personality perspective. Everyone clowned them for getting the number 2 seed. Why would you want the 2 seed? Oh, it's going to be tougher. You're going to have to go up against Philly or Miami. You're better off trying to go up against an Orlando or Indiana. And the Knicks just don't care. They're just we're going to figure it out. They have that figure it out mentality, and it was on full display in this series. And that's, aside from just the actual wins themselves, that's what made it so special, is you really felt this was a win for their culture and everything that they preach and that they believe, where it's just it doesn't matter what's against them. They're just going to figure it out, because that's literally how they won all 4 of these games, was just literally figuring it out on the fly, scratching, clawing, grinding their way to just these really gross, adrenaline pumping wins. And it really was special, and it's something I try not to take for granted, because a lot of teams talk about building the right culture and building the right habits. Obviously Heat culture being the biggest example, but teams always talk about that, and it's really cool to see my team not only preach it, but to really be about it in ways that you can really see and feel. And that's what made this series victory so special, and I hope it continues in round 2 against Indiana and beyond.